Oh,
I think he's definitely interested.
yeah.
Yeah.
These are the important about.
That,
It
was 10 degrees cooler there.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Plus the breeze coming off the ocean.
Yes. We go to the western.
How are you?
I
am doing well. See where you are on the agenda?
That's all that.
Real good. Last couple days,
That's not even enough.
Here, first chemo, a week ago last Thursday.
Well, I got a little like football.
And for about 9 or 10 days. And
First time to go then.
first
Yeah,
week,
but
I didn't
not really.
completely lost
I
my
thought-
daughter.
I was busy.
Nauseous
Went
all
to
the
Mexico
time
in
and
the
just
summertime.
tired. One day she didn't wake up till after 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
We usually go in the morning, COVID struck.
She went in and got some IVs last week a couple times. And then Thursday.
They canceled everything.
Gave her one, they gave her some
I'm still
different
sitting on plane tickets.
nausea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were
medicine
supposed to
through
go to
the IV,
Vegas
and that
in
seemed to help. So
April.
Ooh, yeah.
Got 2 years to use them, so we'll see.
she's gotta have 4 altogether.
Vegas is starting to
Got one
come alive a little bit.
and every 21 days.
We're gonna give it some more time, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
so she should be done by Thanksgiving. We're hoping everything will be done, so.
State law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Simpson.
Here.
Sisson.
Here.
McDermott.
Here,
Burbine. Here. Euchre.
Here.
Aldrich.
Here.
Awesome. We are having a special council meeting for approve the budget. Item number 1, open public hearing to receive comment on the City of Holdridge 2020-2021 property tax request. I think we all have a copy of all the paperwork there. Okay. It's here someplace. All the departments there. Okay, the final. Oh, that's the city evaluation. We are looking at,
Request is 1,528,300. And the resolution is right there in the
okay,
first line.
1,528,343. Do we have anybody from the public who wants to speak on the request? Any comments? We'll close the public hearing. Item 2, adopt resolution 2020-05 setting the city's property tax request for the final year ending September 30, 2021. Motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve.
Doug Simpson,
I'll second that.
Mary McDermott.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Euchre.
No, I wasn't here.
No, you would
This
want
is
to,
for
you would
next
want to
year.
vote on
This is approving the,
Yeah.
our property tax
Oh,
request.
This is for next
Yeah,
year.
this is on our budget, so you'll want to vote on
Yes.
it.
You need your vote.
Yes. Aldrich.
Nod your head.
And Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 3, open public hearing to receive comment on City of Holdridge 2020 2020-21 fiscal year budget.
Mary said that she has not changed anything since the last draft of the budget that you saw, so that draft is the final. The final is in front of you as well.
I will close the public hearing then. Item 4, authorize an additional 1% increase in restricted funds to the City of Holdridge 2020-21 fiscal year budget. We have done this for quite a few years to get that 1% increase. Really helps with a little of, but it doesn't compensate, but it.
You need 6 votes.
What's that?
You'll need 6 votes.
Motion to approve,
So moved.
Aldrich,
Second.
Sisson,
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Huger,
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
there's our 6. Approved. Item 5, approve the City of Holdridge fiscal year budget. Motion to approve. Any comments?
I'd make the motion to approve and also would like to thank Mary and Dean for all the work on it.
Mary.
Mary.
Thank you.
It's a joint effort.
Second by Troy Burbine.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Huger,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 6, consider ordinance 2439 appropriating monies for the various funds of the City of Holdridge for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2021. Motion to approve?
First reading.
Oh,
First reading ordinance 2439, an ordinance appropriating the sums of money required to defray all of the necessary expenses and liabilities of the City of Holdridge, Nebraska for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. Specifying the objects and purposes for which such appropriations are made and the amounts appropriated for each object or purpose. Specifying the dollars to be levied for each object or purpose, providing for the certification of this ordinance to the county clerk of Phelps County, Nebraska, and describing the time when this ordinance shall be in effect. Be it ordained by the mayor and council of the City of Holdridge, Nebraska.
I make a motion, we approve first reading.
Mike Sisson, approved by
Second.
Aldrich.
McDermott,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Motion carried. We need to suspend the rules. This needs to be approved tonight. So we can, so Mary and Dane can get this submitted on time by the end of our fiscal year. So
So moved.
Aldrich makes a
Second.
motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Simpson?
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Burbine,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Final reading, ordinance 2439. An ordinance appropriating the sums of money required to defray all the necessary expenses and liabilities of the City of Holdridge, Nebraska for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. Specifying the objects and purposes for such appropriations are made and the amounts appropriated for each object or purpose. Specifying the dollars to be levied for each object or purpose, providing for the certification of this ordinance to the county clerk of Phelps County, Nebraska, and describing the time when this ordinance shall be in effect. Be ordained by the mayor and council of the City of Holdridge, Nebraska.
Thank you. Motion to approve the final reading.
Motion to approve.
Ben Johnson,
I'll second.
Troy Irvine.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons. Oh, Gavon.
Yes.
Bicker.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yes.
Item 7, adopt resolution 2020-06, establishing depositories for city monies and the various funds of the city of Holdridge for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2021. In the various banks in our community and Loomis, I believe.
No, it's in the resolution.
It's in Lincoln. That's for State Holdridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're all Holdridge banks?
All
It's all spread around. Motion to approve resolution 2020-06.
So moved.
Second.
Mike Sisson, Mary McDermott.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons. Herbaugh. Yes. Bicker.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Hate to tell you this, but the budget has been approved for this year, for next year. Thank you, council. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Aldrich, second. I'll second. Feuerbaum. Before we start in 5 minutes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Herbaugh. Yes. Bicker. Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Thank you. Now get a breather.
Recess.
Yeah.
You guys are just kind of hanging out. You got all this buffalo in there?
No, I'm trying to scare them, keep them out the back.
Last night, last night, there's a couple of, got some agriculture,
This is
for a little fun.
our growth travelers is still. Considerably lower than the travelers. They'll be giving back. Now these guys came in and came.
See here Saturday. What did you? Saturday. Pulled up, it's picked up. I know, that's when these things are going to their church.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you. Might have talked to her on the phone sometime. Sandra Winter.
What?
Sandra Winter.
Long time ago.
Yeah, saw her Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Saw the truck had a number on plates and stuff. Knew her husband too. Always like over there and stuff. He goes by CL. He used to be a contractor, now he's also a plate minister. Yep, there's Sandy.
Their son Cleo?
Her husband,
But you would know if the minutes were accurate.
I don't remember what
Because you wouldn't know if the minutes were accurate.
They did not.
And I wasn't here to receive
Another old face from the past, ran it up.
There's a lot of them here lately.
So she's Gary Lidstrom's sister.
Oh, really?
So Rick's old service.
I caught my last one.
I knew Rex, I knew.
It takes some attention to catch it.
You just keep
Oh,
getting
yeah,
closer
that
to
was
it.
that's been the record forever and ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary. Went up to Christian home, signed proclamation today. I was kind of hoping to get out of there.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to get out. Sergeant Jones is my timekeeper, so.
Does he know that? State law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Simpson.
Here.
Sisson.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Burbine. Here. Fuker.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Aldridge.
Here.
Thank you. If we can all rise, please, for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 1 is the consent agenda. Approve this agenda. Pay the claims as submitted. Approve the city's treasurer's report for August 2017. Consider local recommendation for SDL for liquor license for Kent Schaefer at the station for a wedding reception coming up in October. Any questions? Not, motion to approve.
So move.
Aldridge, second by
Second.
Ben Johnson.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Fuker.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 2, approve the minutes of the September 1st, 2020 regular city council meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Mike Sisson,
I'll second.
Troy Urbum, seconds.
McDermott.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Fuker.
Abstain.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldridge.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Thank you. It is now time for public forum. If somebody has something to bring before the council that is not on the agenda, and during this time, I would also like to welcome those viewers who's watching us on YouTube or those who's on Zoom. So thanks for participating, people. So, anybody from the public have something you want to address the council? Now is the time and the place. We've got places to go, people to see. So I'm going to close the public forum. Item 4, consider renewal of the city's property, casualty, liability, and work comp insurance. Gentlemen, approach the table, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to sit before you. We're going to pass out some folders. I'm Jeff Scanlon, and that is Mark France. We're with the Harry Coke Company with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. Maybe just a little bit of background while Mark passes out the folders. A year ago, a little over a year ago, because of the interlocal arrangement that you have with Hastings, Papillion and La Vista, they went out and your group conducted a request for proposal, an RFP. So there were several brokers that participated in that exercise, and the Harry Coke Company ended up being chosen as an insurance broker. You also had an insurance consultant that I think you've used over the years, James Charles Worth, that actually built the bid specifications for the insurance coverages, but as also the specifications for the RFP. So he might have been involved in previous meetings. We thought it'd be a good idea for us to attend this meeting so you kind of knew who your insurance folks were. Insurance carrier that you've done with is Travelers Insurance Company. A very good company, have a dedication to the public entity space. A little bit of a challenging year this year. And if you, anybody of you is a business owner, certainly homeowners, it's been really a property challenge this actually past 24 months. Don't have to be an actuary to figure out what's been going on. You know, the storm activity in the southeast, the hurricane activity, before Laura, before Sally's hit. Now you've got fires in the west coast, you've got you know, riots, you got COVID, a number of different things kind of driving the property market in the wrong direction in terms of price. So price is one component, but also just on how carriers have elected to underwrite and deal with wind and hail claims going forward. And so maybe some of you have seen a little bit of that even on your own homeowners insurance. You might have a $1,000 deductible for everything but wind and hail, and you might have a 1% wind and hail deductible subject to some minimum. Well, the commercial market, the public entity market hasn't been immune to adverse results, and late this spring, earlier this summer, we kind of got indications from Travelers that the wind and hail deductible for all cities was changing drastically. In fact, the initial discussion was that they were going to put a minimum 1% wind and hail deductible subject to a $50,000 minimum cap, and it wasn't a per occurrence deductible, it was a per building deductible. So, you know, if you start doing the math, you had a major catastrophic event come through Holdridge, it could be a pretty big number. 1% doesn't sound like much, and maybe 50,000 doesn't sound like much initially, but you start adding that for each individual buildings, and it can add up really quick. So at that point, we knew that we needed to provide some options. Long story short, we had another carrier, several carriers, two carriers that ended up, that we're indicating here. One, Beacon, who has a dedication to the public entity space, actually had better deductible terms. They were still using a 1% deductible, but that minimum cap was lowered from 50,000 to 10,000, and they were willing to cap the aggregate loss at 350,000. So that gave us some leverage to go back and talk to Travelers, and ultimately, without giving you, I guess, a whole load of hay, so to speak, Travelers ended up agreeing to just a flat per occurrence deductible of, because it's been changing to at $150,000. So rather than a 1% deductible, rather than a percentage or a minimum deductible per building, it's just a single weather event that would be capped at 150. Once it exceeds 150, then Travelers is on the hook for the remainder of all the losses.
And one beacon was 5.
And one beacon's had a $5,000 deductible per building, subject to a $200,000 cap. So, you know, what we did, if you want to take a look at the pricing, if you open up your pamphlet, it shows really what we provided is just some historical data under the prior years, 2 prior years of historical premium data. And then we look at the renewal column, which is travelers' renewal pricing this year, and that number's changed as early as 24 hours ago, literally, when we got started on this thing actually in the spring. So the market's been changing rapidly. So it shows a difference, and then we've also shown One Beacon. Bidco is a work comp carrier that operates in the public entity space. Bituminous, if you've ever heard of bituminous, that's short for Bidco. And because of really all the terms and conditions of all the other coverage lines, with the exception of the property line, remain the same. So on the right-hand side of your flyer, we just actually did a side-by-side that showed really the difference between the traveler's option and the One Beacon option. And really where the rubber meets the road is on the second page, the bottom two lines, where it outlines the deductible differences that I've just kind of mentioned to you. Both very good carriers. Premiums aside, we would probably still recommend the travelers. It's good to be consistent with one carrier. I don't think we've had any claims problems. One of the things I will mention back on the front page, included or embedded in that premium, renewal premium with travelers, is that we've increased roughly the property values here in the city just under 10%, which is a good thing. Kind of keeps up with really the construction and labor trends. I think we've also added some property during the course of the year. It's a single blanket with travelers. That $65 million limit represents really a blanket limit across all buildings and all business personal property, as opposed to One Beacon where they split limits out. It's still blanketed buildings, still blanketed business personal property. So really, if in terms of strengthening the property contract itself, we prefer to see a single blanket as opposed to separation of limits. Bottom line, 6% increase total. Last year to this year's renewal. If you're business owners, you would be happy with the 6% renewal increase if you're buying insurance. So I told Dane I'd try to keep this under an hour. Mark, you have anything to add? And we'd be open to questions. I mean, we just, it's a big spend for the city. There's a lot of money that goes toward insurance. It's a lot of money on the front end, and you want to make sure that things are buttoned up tight on the back end in case you have claims. So, but the big conversation item, big discussion item is really the property. It's been, even last year at this time, whenever your renewal came up, there's a pretty significant change in how the property terms were issued for your policy a year ago. So, because
the change, and that's not here in the flyer, but where we're at today, until we renew for wind, hail deductible, is just $25,000. That's the way it has been written. That is just not available. That's, I guess, just wanted to point out, that's the major change. I mean, yeah, there's some variances between carriers, but that wind, hail deductible, no matter which route you take, is moving up from $25,000 per event, up to the Travelers has the $200,000.
150.
Or 150, excuse me, you're correcting me, no, that's good. It's the 150, and whereas One Beacon, their per event is higher at the 200,000, but they do have, at least if it's just one building, it might be subject to only the $5,000. If it's just one building that was hit versus, the more likely scenario where you have multiple buildings hit in one event, and then your deductible aggregates up to that higher number.
So all in all, if you if you ask us, you know, recommendation-wise, who we would choose, and really, we don't, we do not have a dog in the hunt. We're actually fee-based as opposed to commission-based, so we try to take the emotional element out of making any kind of recommendation. You know, if we were sitting in your chairs, we'd probably continue the relationship that you've had with Travelers this year.
That sounds good and it looks good at 6% increase compared to what could be.
And I would comment, since I do most of the insurance stuff, that Travelers is very good to work with. They cover claims well, and if somebody needs to tell a claimant no, they do that for you. Spend a lot of time on the phone with them.
Does that basically look like a 6% increase year over year for the last 3 years?
Oh, it is. And that's cheap.
Pretty close.
Is there a particular reason one weekend didn't get back to you with all the information?
Yeah, good question. They, you know, what we prefer to do is to actually look at the insurance contract itself, so we can do side-by-sides. So really, we were relying on information from the underwriter themselves, and they simply just did not get back.
Okay.
Thank you guys for the presentation.
You bet.
We haven't had this done in years, and this is very informative.
Well,
Appreciate it.
you know, we have a passion for what we do, to do it right. If there's any questions that come up, I mean, our cards are in the packet. Get a hold of Dane, we're happy to assist any way we can, or to show up at special meetings.
And thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
That makes it pretty easy.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, you gonna have a motion?
We need a motion to approve the renewal of the city's property casualty liability and work comp insurance.
And with whom?
What?
And with whom?
I'd make the motion that we continue with Travelers.
I second that.
Mary McDermott seconds.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Herbold. Yes. Euchre.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 5, consider watchdog committee report.
Good evening. I'm Luke Thorell. I'm the chairman of the Citizens Advisory Review Committee, which is the watchdog committee for the LB 840 funds that PCDC administers. Executive Director Ron Taylor, I'm sure you all know him. The Citizens Advisory Review Committee, we met on August 12th of 2020. We reviewed a written report. It's a semi-annual public review for local optional municipal tax for the LB 840 funds. Within that packet, I think you all have it probably, was the financial statements for period January 1 through June 30th. Statement of assets and liabilities and net assets, financial variance report, and a statement of revenues and expenses compared to budget. And then we also had robust verbal conversation regarding what PCDC has been up to and how they've been utilizing these funds. One of the main, I guess, variances that you'll see on the budget is the GO loans. It's 98,000 compared to 2,400 on the budget, and those were reallocated basically due to economic recovery grants, but they were reallocated from other programs that, so no new expenses were incurred. They're just reutilized, if that makes sense. For COVID, help out local businesses, area producers and businesses. So that was the main variance that we went over. I guess we'll refer to Ron if you have anything else to add, or if you guys have any questions in front of you.
I won't go through the report, you've got it in front of you, but as Luke said, the budget is a guiding document. And of course, when we experienced the COVID disruptions earlier this year, we quickly determined we needed to either reallocate or reduce expenditures in some areas that we had previously budgeted for. And we launched some economic assistance programs for Main Street businesses that were either forced to close or restrict access as a result of the directive health measures. We distributed more than $94,000 in grant funds. They matched purchases through gift cards that consumers made. Consumers actually bought more than $94,000 in gift cards, and we actually matched more than we had originally intended because of the popularity and the rush of consumers to support our local businesses. So we're really pleased with how that turned out. We also implemented the digital development grant program that distributed about $10,000 to local businesses to improve their online presence and prepare them for more electronic sales as opposed to relying only on brick and mortar traffic. The good news is our market is performing better than we feared might be the case when we first got started here. In fact, our county sales tax revenues and the proceeds into LD 840 are tracking ahead of last year. We had 2 down months, March and April, but May and June have been strong growth months, and we're really impressed by that. Some of the metro or larger communities in Nebraska are not faring nearly as well as we are on a percentage basis. So our communities responded well, and I think that some of the monies that we suspended temporarily, we may be able to put back in play as the year wears on. So all in all, we're in very good shape, much better than some of our neighbors.
That magic multiplier worked very well for
Yes.
the businesses in town. That was
Well received.
a huge hit. Good model for other communities, it sounds like, too. So
Yeah, I know that we had at least 12 other communities that contacted us and in some form or fashion tried to model their responses after ours. We were able to move faster than some communities because of the way we're organized. Some communities, it took them longer to implement. So again, we're fortunate here, and I want to thank all of you for your support.
I see there's some vacancies that did not attend the meeting. One of those I'll be looking at, maybe replacing. Her term is coming up, but Rochelle Juergens is stepping down. She's moved, but I've got a replacement for that. The council has not approved her yet, and I'm sure they will. So.
And I can report that PCDC has invited and the board has approved appointment of Grant Erickson to the PCDC Board of Directors, and he'll be joining us at the October meeting.
And I wish you would cherry pick my ones that I go out and recruit, and this got to stop, Ron. I find the good ones, and what happens to them? Just kidding. Just kidding.
It was a good preparatory experience for him.
Just kidding. Any questions?
Ron, I want to just thank you for working with the library board.
My
As
pleasure.
they try to move forward with plans for a new library in this community.
Well, that's an important project. A lot of people want to see something good happen. And I don't know that we have all the best ideas, but we'll do whatever we can to assist the library as they look for options in front of them.
And it's going to be exciting. They're going to be moving forward here. Thank you, PCDC, for helping them.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Any questions for Luke, Watchdog Committee? He's getting off pretty easy, guys.
What were some of the businesses that were able to take advantage of the digital development grants? Just off the top of your head.
Did we list those in here?
Yeah, they're in here.
They're
Yeah.
in here.
I thought we did.
I'll go through it again.
Isn't there two?
I think we
Was it more
made
than two?
10 grants, at least. Yeah, 10 different grants. And that program is still available to people that, we've got about $2,000 or $3,000 still allocated in that program, if there's somebody out there that wants to apply for it. What we're looking to do is help them either improve an existing website, start a website, add marketing horsepower to what they're doing, and in some cases, hook them up with, for instance, Grow Nebraska, which has regular workshops for online marketing, and they're a terrific resource. So one of the things that we have approved for some of those grants is a membership in Grow Nebraska, which is about $300 a year.
Cool.
Have you gotten much feedback or been able to measure the effectiveness of those digital development grants? What have you heard from some of the businesses that have benefited?
Yeah, we're just starting to get, the results of those. It's taken a few months for some of those people to get the websites built and then launched, but we'll report on that. Reports.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Any more questions? We still have another 20 minutes with Luke yet. He's got a football game to go to. Motion to approve the Watchdog Committee report.
So moved.
Aldrich,
Second.
Sisson,
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Beerbaume,
yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Thank you, Luke. on your Watchdog
Thank you.
Committee. Ron? 6. Item 6, approve a public fireworks display permit allowing Tom Schrock to discharge commercial fireworks during the Holdridge Dusters October 2nd homecoming football game.
Shouldn't be any problem since you got all your insurance taken care of earlier.
So,
Yeah, that doesn't
Wait,
cover
that's
my
on
windows.
school property. That's on school property, right?
So, yeah, just the same thing that we've done for quite a few years now. I've got my permit approved. Of course, I would coordinate, the fire chief has to sign off on it. They're there the whole time. I would not like anything off unless they, give us the okay. They have the final word on it. And it's kind of the salute shells, the loud ones, until it gets, usually the first half, until it gets dark enough to where you can light off the ones you can see. So,
the dogs like those loud ones.
my dog's deaf, so it doesn't matter.
My dog died, so I took care of that.
I will provide the city with the liability insurance waiver that I get every year and a copy of the display permit from the state that has to be signed by the fire chief. I haven't talked to the fire chief yet, but they've always been more than accommodating. And I won't do anything without their approval.
Yeah.
Does this come with a guarantee that Holdridge win that night?
Unfortunately not. I also have communicated with the new football coach to make sure he's on board, and he is, along with the high school. So.
New football coach got his first W last week, so that was good.
I've saved money on fireworks the last couple of years. I'm hoping hoping I get to light a few.
That would be awesome.
I think this is a cool thing you do, for the school, kind of adds to homecoming, so
I agree.
I'd move we approve.
I'll second that.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Herbaugh,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just in case.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 7, receive an update on the Veterans Memorial Project, and there's been some good progress made, it looks like.
Evening, Mayor, city council members. Honored to
Good
be
evening.
here.
Glad you two could make it.
I'm here in my capacity as the vice chair of the Holdridge Veterans Memorial Monuments Project. And Mark Kraus has been activated, he was the chair, and he's going to be activated for some time here. And I'm going to agree to take it over and help out till he gets back. He's still participating in some of the meetings by Zoom, and when he's back, he can be available. So I just wanted to say that a couple points here that we're right at 80,000 now. I checked this morning with the Phelps County Community Foundation that we've gathered, and of course the coronavirus and with that going on, we had to cancel the main event that was going to be September the 19th here, and hopefully do that probably in July sometime. But other projects, Phelps Memorial Hospital put on the golf tournament out at the golf club Friday, and had a good turnout, had a team in that, and a real good turnout. They'll donate half of that to the Veterans Monument. And then the YMCA is doing a 5K run that they're going to donate the money.
That got canceled.
Oh, it did? Oh, I didn't know that.
I just heard that this afternoon.
Okay.
We didn't have enough council members sign up for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they only had like 12 people sign up, and so.
Okay.
Make it a 1K.
What?
I
1K?
got a chance of making it.
But anyway,
If I can bike, yeah.
Anyway, well, it's progressing quite well, I think, with everything going on, so that's gonna be a nice addition to the Holdridge Veterans Park down south there. But I'll turn it over to Doug. He's gonna go over some of the details of what it's gonna look like.
Well, it's kind of unique this year with everything going on, with the COVID and everything else, a lot of negative out there. And you look what's kind of going on here in Holdridge, we kind of got a nice little, very unique situation here. Our sales tax, et cetera, and just our community. The Veterans Memorial is something that's been missing. And Mr. Neely and his group kind of kick-started this thing going, and we've jumped and run with it, and here's what we got. Our goal on this thing was to create an area where people can come and pay their respects to their loved ones that are on the wall, to the people that are still serving, etc. And I think we're close to getting that accomplished. As you can see here, we've got some renderings. I didn't give you all the renderings, just kind of the ones that otherwise we'd have a whole lot more paper and more trees dead. But the idea was to create something that people can come and see, we can be proud of, and give the right protocol and respect to our veterans. But you can kind of see through here, I've got renderings on the front side here. On the back side, we've got the plan set behind. You also notice they're marked as preliminary set. These are about 95% complete. We've got a few minor details out there. I wanted to get all that kind of cleaned up before I got them in front of Kim here and Brian for the electrical and all just the city information there. So he hasn't really, he knows what we're doing, but he hasn't had a chance to really look at the plan. So, but we're planning on getting into construction here next year. We talked about doing some fall construction, but we're all concerned about the freeze and thaw with the footings, etc. And also with the granite, getting everything in. It's smarter to wait till spring, so we can get it all done in 1 year. So with that said, you guys can kind of take a look at it. I'm throwing a lot at you here. Take these home. You know where to find me if you guys got questions, comments, thoughts. But I like what we have going here. I like the spot where we are down here in South Park by the ball fields there. there's just a lot of potential down there, and this is that first stepping stone to make that park really unique. We've got some other things planned down there in time as we go. One of the things in there, on the renderings, you'll notice we've got the flag, and then off to the, I guess to the north side, we've got a statue there. That is just an idea. We don't have a design for that yet. We don't really know what we want to do there, but we're gonna make a pedestal sitting there and wire it so we can put electrical in that area for later on. We're hoping to get some kind of a bronze, some kind of statue. We're not even sure of the design yet, but that's just one of those future plans. One of the other things that's unique about this design, we've got a lot of room on the tablets on the front and back side for names, but it's easily expandable by doing a second row on the back and splitting the gaps. And also we can actually fan out and get it wider. So it's a simple design, but it creates a lot of intimacy out there for the people that are paying their respects. So we've got on the star that's in the concrete there, we've got lights on each point that'll be lighting up the flag. As we all know, flags, they like to blow with the wind, so they're really kind of hard to light appropriately, so the flag just really pops at night. So that's kind of one of our concerns with that at night. We don't want to light it up as daylight, but we really want to make it unique, so it's a statement. So I've babbled long enough.
Talk about that flag there in the middle. I think Mr. Dealey has already purchased that. We already have that flag on.
I got the flag delivered.
It's here ready, but we'll have to wait to get the monuments.
Well, I paid for it delivered.
Yeah.
This is something that's been needed in Holdridge for a long time. And
It's a very neat design.
I think this is going to work out pretty nice.
It'll be very cool.
There's been a lot of thought and discussion on how we go about this and do it in the right way. Now, you'll notice on the renderings also, if you look at the renderings compared to the drawings, they're not exactly the same. There's subtle differences. The renderings were done before we had our final design. The bases for those granites, the black granite stone, it will be granite. It'll be actually black instead of the concrete that's shown there, but you got to make the drawings pop so that people can see it. So, these will be some of the drawings that we'll be using when we're going through our fundraising, etc. But fundraising's been going well. Community support when they've seen this has been really good. I only expect we get through this COVID thing, I think it's just going to grow. I think it'll just kind of happen.
The dedication from the South Park to the Veterans Memorial Park was supposed to happen coming up Saturday. Mr. Parsons has already had his staff install the flagpole holders. There will be 18 flags flying along Burlington Street come Saturday, and hope to be flying those for Veterans Day also, coming in November. So
It should look real nice. That was a good idea, Mayor, on that, so.
Estimate for total cost, pardon?
One of the things that we don't know exactly yet is the granite cost. Estimated wise, though, we're looking 170 to 200,000, somewhere in that area. And we've got a ways to go on our fundraising, but I think that's definitely doable. So, and this is something that, the design I don't feel is over the top, but it's a design that's simple, it's unique. The verbiage on the center stone, I believe it's, so I get this right, a better look. Honoring those that serve, I believe.
with the different branches on there.
Right. And the idea on that, we don't care what branch you serve. You pay your dues to the country. And Don Dealey kind of came up with that, and I like that. The more I think about that, the more I really like it, because it doesn't matter what branch you serve, and you serve proudly. And that's what we're paying our respects for.
And you're including the National Guard and the Coast Guard and all that in there?
Coast Guard is on there. I'm not sure about the National Guard. If the National Guard is included in that?
National Guard or net veterans, or the Veterans Administration.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
the
curious.
one to ask that.
I'm just curious.
But one of the things that we've got to look at adding is the new Space Force. So that's one of those things that's going to change a little bit.
Travis Warner's certifying those, he's the veteran service officer. They have to have 1 day active duty.
Ooh. Good.
That's federal regulation, I guess.
Sure.
Considered a veteran.
I like the simplicity of what you've come up with for the design. I think that keeps the focus on the veterans.
Right.
Instead of having too much going on,
Yep.
you know.
And the other side of that is it's easily to survey, to put surveillance on us so we don't have some fools out there doing
Mhm.
stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
And it's easy for expansion this way too. So.
Yes, yes.
Good job.
What was the plan for the maintenance going forward?
That's part of our contributions, our fundraising, to look at that, to go forward. The way these tablets are set up, we can add names, and that's kind of what our plan is, to add names like once or twice a year, depending on how many we get.
Well, I'm sure it'll probably grow on
Yeah.
its own, and
Yeah.
you guys can do that. What about like the grounds maintenance? Is
Uh,
that just
that'll-
added to
that'll-
the city's,
Yeah.
the park crew?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We're working on an endowment fund besides just paying for this, so there'll be a little bit for maintenance and stuff to help with it.
And that's some of the other stuff, taking into that consideration, it's a good comment. The design is simple, it's easy maintenance, That was one of on the lighting of this thing, I worked with Brad Ludicky quite heavily on that, and maintenance on that is, we went round and round on a lot of different lights. In fact, he's not a big fan of candlelights in concrete, because they create a lot of heat, and that's condensation. Well, the new LED lights have come a long way since then, and the maintenance and the longevity of those LED lights are a ton better than they used to be. So by the time next year rolls around, we should have some really good lights that we can stick in there that'll be maintenance, a lot less maintenance than what we want to be. So.
Our next major fundraising is the Give to Grow in October, and Mayor's getting some signs made up for that, and hopefully we can gather quite a few donations through that.
You know, with PC, or the Phelps Memorial having that golf tournament, Dairy Queen had a fundraising like $450 they contributed.
Right.
The Y was going to have this fun run, so a lot of people are getting on board. They're anxious to see this. It's going to be pretty cool.
I think it will. I think it looks positive anyway, and I think it's, with the COVID thing, if we just get through that and be able to have a nice fundraising event, that'd be great to do that. So.
We're trying.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Anything else?
Thank Mark Kraus if you're watching,
Yeah, you might be.
or Vice Chair Tom Nutt, thank you, and Doug Stevenson for everything you have done on it.
Thank you, Mayor, for your help. Plus on that committee. So thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for the update. Item 8, consider third reading of ordinance 2440, amending section 10-113 of the Holdridge Municipal Code to allow the sale of alcohol in Holdridge on election days. This will be our third and final reading. I don't know if any of the council members have had any community input.
Yeah, everybody's pretty excited about it.
Okay. Dane?
Final reading, ordinance 2440. An ordinance to amend chapter 10, article 1, section 10117 of the Holdridge Municipal Code related to alcoholic beverages, hours of sale, to repeal all other ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, to provide for the severability of all parts hereof, and to designate the time described when this ordinance shall be in effect. be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska.
Thank you. Motion to approve final reading.
So moved.
McDermott,
Second.
Ben Johnson.
Herbaugh,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. It is now time for open discussion for staff and council. Dane?
I would just like to thank Mary for all her work on the budget. Without her, that would not have been possible, so thank you, Mary.
Thank you, but it was a joint effort.
Now, just have to live with the budget now. Yeah. Thank you, Mary. Sergeant. Our timekeeper.
I got nothing.
Troy?
Nothing.
Trent? Welcome back. Ben?
I just want to apologize for my tardiness, and
That's once.
I'll take it. Kim, the slides turned out really good. I spoke with that crew a couple times, and they did a really good job.
Yeah, you said they're gonna be pretty fast, so.
Yeah.
Which one do you choose going
No,
first?
I don't think so.
They had a fairly large guy who was doing the spraying, and they had a really small guy also, so I was talking to him, and I asked him if he was gonna be the one getting inside the enclosed to spray. And the big guy comes stepping over, defensive, said, "Nope, that's my job."
So that Griswold spray for the bottom of the sled.
But they did a really good job, and they were really courteous over there, and nice and neat, and took really care of our stuff.
Yeah,
So.
they're enjoyable to visit with, so.
Good. Yep. So good hire. Good job.
How do you recommend them next time?
Yep.
When they showed
Well-
up, they probably wondered why they were here. How cold it was that day.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Randy?
Question for Mitch. Do we have 603 Tilden on our radar to get cleaned up and the property behind it?
It's always on your radar.
I know that is a horrible eyesore in this community. I just want to bring it up in a public meeting because it's been going on for so long.
I know I've had different officers talk about 603 Tilden, that apartment that used to be an apartment that's very substandard. I've had people across the street complain about 603 Tilden multiple times. I says, hopefully we can get something done. That house and the alley behind it should not be livable. We don't have rental inspection. But thanks for bringing that up.
That's all I have, Mayor.
That's enough.
I can add to it.
There's a list, isn't there?
Doug?
Nope, I'm good.
I know you're good, but you have anything?
Nope.
Mike?
I have nothing.
Mary?
Where did we leave off with the discussion on rental inspections?
We haven't started.
All right.
We don't have an inspector to carry through on it either.
I believe, Mary, that we're still, we presented kind of a preliminary ordinance, and I think, Kim, you're still working on that.
Right, we need to, well, I've met with the attorney about it, and the attorney has some concerns pertaining to it. So I need to sit down with the chief and go over it, and then we need to sit down with committee and discuss it, so.
I'd really like to see that pursued as possible.
Can't we do something with the outside of these places? I mean, the trash and the junk and
Oh, we have ordinances.
We have nuisance ordinances, and we're working on one on 13, 14, 8. I thought we'd be a little further ahead on that. But I've been in contact, tried to be in contact with the parties who's working on that, and I have not heard back. But still pursuing it.
As bad as that one on 603 is, I almost think it'd be a health concern. We could almost go after it for,
Nuisance property.
yeah. Can't be a healthy living condition down there.
You can't be, nobody can be living in there.
Are there children that?
Yes, there has been.
There have been in the past, I don't know right now who's living in it for sure, but.
Probably 4 different apartments.
The last I knew, the 2 basement apartments or main floor apartments were occupied, but the upstairs was not. There was some squatting activity going on in the upstairs apartment at one time, and the landowner was trying to chase people out of there, but that's the latest.
And the landlord doesn't seem to get too enthused about that.
There's a problem.
Yeah. And she has other properties. We'll talk to the chief and
Same type of look at structures on the other properties involved.
That runs down a whole neighborhood. I'm sorry, but that's pathetic.
Devalue
Allow
it.
that, yes.
devalue.
That should not be allowed in our community. We ought to be ashamed that we allow property like that to be inhabited. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rod's got nothing tonight?
I
Ken?
just want to be, I've met with the committee, utilities committee this evening to discuss about the possibility of the rates for the water and sewer. And I believe I got their consent to pursue that, so it should be on the next council agenda.
Looks good. Thanks, Kim. Mary?
No.
I'm gonna say that it's getting to be fall, we need to go around and trim the street trees, 12-foot clearance, so they don't rub on vehicles, UPS, FedEx, ambulance, whatever.
Street sweeper.
Police auction is coming up Thursday.
Thursday, yes.
Weather should be good for it.
5:30.
So, anybody needs transportation, they'll have a bunch of bicycles, it sounds like. I see they're Amtrak is starting to work on their loading dock. Over there. Amtrak's looking at maybe doing 3 days a week. So if you can write Senator Fisher or Senator Sass to say that's not enough, we need daily service with Amtrak. So, and I think we can put some gravel on East Street because I don't think we're gonna tear up anything else.
Mr. Mayor, we looked at that today. We did a walkthrough with,
That's right.
Brian and I did a walkthrough with Olson Associates to address all the issues with the paving and whatever with the new subdivision. And we're gonna address East Street, the city well, just due to some of the gas lowering, and we had to fix a fire hydrant on the corner down there on 9th and East Street, so we'll address it, get the road hopefully more drivable.
Thank you. And I see in the paper the recycling center was gonna be closed. But Kim says they're still gonna pick up the recycling. The structure out to the landfill will not be taking drop-offs, but they will still be doing their pickups. Is that correct?
This was just from an employee that I talked to today, said that he is still hired to pick all the trailers and whatnot off that they have around town, but they have the drop-off closed.
So recycling is still,
I was asked about that yesterday, and I didn't really, I told them as far as I knew that they were still doing the recycling.
They announced they were leaving those trailers out for us to use.
Is there a reason why they're closing the
I didn't know that, but
one down?
they said trailer would be available.
As long as they're picking up the trailers and emptying them in timely basis, and people aren't putting stuff outside of the recycling trailers.
Which is the norm.
Yeah. So. Other than that, this meeting is adjourned.